This conference will now be recorded.
All right. So if you remember in the last introduction session, we have already finished what is an IIB, what are the advantages of IIB, and what are the topics we are going to cover in the IIB. So everything we have seen, right?
Yes.
So in today's session, we are going to understand about IIB 9 installation in Linux operating system and also IIB 9 uninstallation. So these two things we are going to see. So installation of IIB and uninstallation of IIB both are pretty simple concepts. We can cover it in one session. So let's start with the IIB 9 installation. So once this session is completed, right? So after this, we are going to share you the needed VMware and the needed Linux ISO image and the needed IIB softwares which are can be configured in your computer so that you can practice them. You can get hands-on anytime you want by installing them in your system. Okay, so I already have the VM in my machine. So this is my VM. This is a Linux machine. So in this Linux machine, we are going to see how to install IIB 9 with all the needed dependencies. So I have already prepared a document for this. So we are going to install IIB 9. So okay, let's start with the So before starting the installation, let me ask you one question. When we need to install any software, so do we install it just like that, or are we going to check any kind of some prerequisites of the software?
I think a prerequisite, if in case it needs a kind of an installation manager.
So what is the necessity of checking the prerequisites while installing any software? Is that really that much important?
I believe so, because some of them, even if we manage to install them, if the prerequisite is not fulfilled, it may not totally work.
Exactly. So when we do not check the prerequisites of the software may become a big failure in the near future because we don't know the risk when we do not check the prerequisite, right? In the same way, when we need to install IIB, we need to verify the prerequisites. We need to met the prerequisites in the server. Then only we have to proceed with the IIB 9 installation. So let's see with the prerequisites now. So the first prerequisite is we need to have MQ installation. If we need to install IIB, first of all, we need to install MQ in our machine because IIB lies on top of MQ. Without MQ, there is no IIB. So here we are installing MQ9. It means that we need to have MQ. We need to have MQ 7.5 or MQ9 installation. So if you need to know how to install MQ9, do you know how to install MQ?
No.
All right. So it's again a separate course in MQ. Anyway, I'm going to share you this document of MQ 7.5 installation and also this IIB9 installation so that you can go through the document. If you do not understand about that MQ9 installation, I'm going to explain you how to do MQ installation. Okay?
Okay.
But you know basic administrative stuff of MQ operations, right?
Yeah, a bit.
Like the creation of queue manager, deletion of the queue manager, how to create the queues. Hope you already know all these things because it's a prerequisites before learning IIB.
Yeah.
All right. So the pending part for you is how to install MQ9. So I have a documentation for that. I can share you with that document after the training, after this session. Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, we already have the Linux machine. So let me check if we have installed MQ in this operating system or not. So do you have the command how to verify the installed MQ version in the machine?
No.
Okay. So DSD MQBER is the command which stands for display MQ version. This command is going to show you which version of MQ is installed in this operating system. So in this operating system, we have IBM MQ 9.0. Fine, MQ is installed. So how to install this MQ? I'm going to share you the document. You can follow that. It means that the first prerequisite now met. Now the second prerequisite is we need to have MQBRKRS group and MQM user should be created in this operating system. So let me check if the user MQM and the group MQBRKRS have been created or not. So first of all, let me come to the user. Do you know how to verify if a user exists or not in a Linux operating system? Any idea on that?
For MQ, no.
No, I'm not asking about the MQ. For example, I want to see if any user is created or not in the Linux operating system. Do you know the command for that?
No.
Okay, fine. So there is a command called id space mqm. When we give this, it is showing some proper output like user ID, group ID, and it is member of which group. It means that MQM user is created. So generally, when we install MQ, right, at that time, MQM user will be created. So MQM user is there. Now the question is, we need to verify if MQBRKRS group is created or not. So MQBRKRS stands for MQ brokers.
Brokers.
That's
Okay.
what the meaning of this group ID. So how to verify if the group exists or not? It's very simple. There is a file called etc groups. In these groups, if the group user exists, the MQ paragraphs entry will be there in this groups directory. So this file will be in etc. So slash etc slash group. I'm just catting this file. When I cat this file, oh, no such file. Hold on. etc group. Okay, it's not groups, it's just group. So it is showing some list of groups, right? Like root group, bin group, daemon group, sys group, all these groups, right? It means these groups are there. Out of this, can we see something called MQ no, see MQ group is there, but MQ group is not there. So let's create the group. How to create the group? Here is the group. Group add space MQ. So we need to switch to root user for creation of group. So right now I am logged in as MQM user. So switch to root user. I know my root password of the machine. So I'm switching to root user. Now group and MQ. This is the command to create a lookup.
Hold on. Let me.
Sure.
You were MQM user.
Yes. From the MQM user, I have switched to root user.
So you switch it by exiting or by doing sudo?
No, generally I logged in into VM machine directly as a root user and then I switch to MQM user. So now when I exit it, definitely I will go back to root user only. That's what I did. Okay, let me do one thing. Sudo su minus nqm. Now I am nqm user, right? Now let's switch to root user. Sudo su root. It will, oh no, not for the nqm password. Okay, su minus root. I am switching as root user because nqm user does not have the sudo privileges to switch to root user in this machine. So su minus root. Now it will ask for the root user password. I know my root user password because I am the one who installed the Linux operating system in this machine. So my root password I am entering. That's it. Now I'm switched in as root user. Okay. Now you can enter this command by adding the group. So group is already exists. Now if you cat the file cat etc group, now we can see mqbr carriage group, right? So till here clear creation of the group. Okay. Now make sure our mqm user is a member of mqbrkrs. So right now if I do id mqm, our mqm user is a member of just mqm group. It is not a member of mqbrkrs group. So the next thing is we have to make sure, okay, my mqm user is a member of mqbrkrs. So how to add, how to make a user as a member of mqbrkrs group. So here is my command. User mode is the command. So user mode, it has to be executed with the root user only, because only root has the privilege to deal with the groups and users. So this is the command I'm executing. Copy, paste. So this command executes that this user, this mqm user will be a member in mqbrkrs group. Okay, now if I do id mqm, now see mqm user is a member of mqm group and also mqbrkrs group. All right, so clear with this command? Any questions?
Hold on. So
Sure.
We didn't have the user group itself. So you created a user group, then you added the MQ broker user to the groups.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
But I didn't get it anyway.
Sorry?
I didn't get how you did this thing.
Simple. So here is, with the help of group add command, I created a group called mqbrkrs. Okay. All right, clear with this command, which I highlighted here.
So group IDs, the one which says group ID is a syntax, and the MQ brokers is the one you created. Just you could create whatever you want.
Yes.
Whereas group IDs are something must to be there.
Right.
Then user mode minus A minus G, MEQ brokers, MEQM.
Yes. So that this MQM user will become a member in MQBRKRS group.
The one which is already created.
Yes, exactly.
So it has to follow this syntax.
Yes, it has to follow this syntax.
And also it is a root. MQM is now a root.
No, MQM is not a root.
Just it is simply some member on the which can use the broker, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get your point. Can you come again? Yeah, go ahead.
So MEQ brokers, MEQM is a user, yeah?
Yes, MQM is a user ID, but MQBRKRS is a group. It's not a user, it's a group. A group is a combination of users.
Yeah. Just to make it clear, the one we said MEQM brokers, MEQM, just we could substitute by any, like if it is employee ID, we can replace it by employee ID, which subscribes to the MEQM brokers group, yeah?
Yes, something like that. Exactly, you're right.
Okay.
right? So now got some clarity with the point number 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So here, let me tell you one thing. Generally, in the real time, in the work environment, being an IIB administrator or being an MQ administrator, we really do not have the access to switch to root user. We really do not get the privileged thing to create the groups, to create the users. So here we have to request to Unix team, hey, can you please create a group called MQBR and can you please add my MQM user as a member in MQBR group? When we place this kind of request to Unix team, the Unix people, they can fulfill this request on our behalf. That would be the procedure in the real time. But here in this training, this is my own VM. I know my root password. I know the commands which need to create, so I executed it. But in the real time, we do not get such kind of flexibility. We have to depend on the Unix people for this. Even
Okay.
Unix people also, they have to execute this command, they have to execute this command because they will be having the root privileges.
So, what if you are an admin? Don't you have this access if you are admin?
You are not a Unix admin, you are a IIB admin, right? IIB admin means in the IIB admin level, you can do anything, but in the operating system level administration, you can't do anything, right?
I mean, what if you are MEQ admin?
If you are an MQ admin, you will be having the privileges to do any kind of MQ admin operation.
So you can create some. I think they use kind of LDAP for authentication.
LDAP authentication is not done by us. Again, LDAP authentication will be done by the Unix people, right? Because they are the one who are going to create LDAP users, and they are the people who can authorize those particular users, right?
Yeah.
Clear? Any
Yeah.
questions?
So anyway, the main thing is knowing the syntax is the main
Right.
important thing.
That's right. So, I mean, knowing the proper procedure is the right thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this is the prerequisite number 2. Let's come to the third prerequisite, which is a file system. Hope you already aware what is
I
a file
mean,
system.
sorry, Mohan.
Yeah.
So the one you said like MEQ brokers group is like usually they categorize it into like admin group, developers group, or monitors group, something like that. So it is like kind of creating that category and adding the users or individuals to the group. Yeah, this is what helps for that.
Exactly. That enforces that only. You are perfect now. You are getting the things.
Thank you. Okay.
No problem. So the third prerequisite is the file system. Hope you already aware what is a file system in the Linux operating system, right?
Um,
Okay. So even don't worry about the commands how to create this file system. So it's not IIB admin job, it's a Unix admin job. We have to just place a request to them so that they can create for us. Fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So right now, so let me verify if the var MKC file system is there or not. I am using a command called df -h. So df means discrete command. It's a Unix operating system command. If I do this command, it's a var mq sr. Right now it says that there is no such file or directory. That's okay. Now, if I do opt ibm df-h opt ibm, it says that this file system is also not there. But for this training, don't worry about this file system, because when we install the IIB, right, this file system will be automatically created. So we are not going to create the file system. We are ignoring this point. But in the real time, do not ignore. In the real time, it should be always recommended. Make sure these file systems are already exist before the installation with the needed memory allotted to it. Okay. But
Okay.
right now, we are ignoring this point, because when we do the installation of IIB, these two file systems will be automatically created.
So it is the space needed for this installation, yeah, 25 GB.
No, it won't come with the 25 GB. I believe it will come with the 2 GB only, because it's just a training purpose. I customized all the software as per the training purpose with the minimal space.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyway, it is whatever it is just the memory space required for installation.
Yes, exactly. And the fourth prerequisite is the software dump in a temporary location, and that is always true, right? When we need to install any software, first of all, we need to have that particular software dump in some temporary location. Then only we can install the software, right? So right now in this VM, in this operating system, we do not have the software. So let's get the software. The software is in my machine, in my Windows machine, in dumps, message broker dumps. Yeah, MB. Yeah, here it is. Do you see this? IIB version 9.0.2, Linux 86, air.gz. So this file is the one which we need to set up in our Linux operating system. So first of all, I need to copy this software from my Windows machine to my Linux machine. So Windows to Linux machine, to copy the file, I am using a software called WinSCP. So WinSCP is a software to copy the files in between the servers. Okay. So do you know how to use WinSCP?
I don't have it on my computer.
Okay. So for this training, you need to have it. So I'm going to share you this WinSCP also. It's a simple thing. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Let me rework that. So WinSCP, do a click, close it. It will look like this. Okay. Now here you have to enter the host name. You have to enter is to which host we need to copy. That host name we need to enter. So we need to enter in our Linux machine, right? So get the IP address of the machine. So this is the IP address. Control V, and log in as a root user. So I already know my root password because I am the one who created this VMware. So I am entering my root password. That's it. Now the left side part is showing about this is our Windows machine. The right side part, this is our Unix machine. So now it will open as a graphical mode. So if you see the rooting and all, it's a root machine. I mean, it's a Linux machine.
So are you using the same computer, both as a Windows and Linux?
Yes, right.
I mean, you have like a VM on Windows self.
No, 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 no. In Windows I do not have the no. Come again with your question. Sorry, I lost that right. Come again.
I mean, you are copying it in the on the same computer, yeah? On the same computer from one directory to another?
No, I'm not copying in the same computer. I'm copying from my Windows server to my Linux server.
Are
Both
they
are
on the,
different machines.
are they, oh, okay, they are on different physical machines?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Okay. So see, this is right now the Windows machine. Consider this is a server. Don't consider this. This is just my personal computer. Consider this is a server. And I found that okay, my needed software in this is in this server. Now the one you are seeing, this is considered like a another server. It's a Linux server. Now we need to move the software from our Windows server to this Linux server. For that, we are depending on a tool called WinSCP. So WinSCP is purely for to move the files between the servers from your Windows machine to another Linux server. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So in my Windows server, my software is it is in E drive, NQMB dumps, MB dumps. Here is the file which I need to move, and I want to move it some temporary locations like in the Linux machine. So slash root, go to tmp. So here I'm moving. So just do a drag and drop. That's it. With the mouse, I am holding this file and just drag and drop here. That's it. Click OK. That's it. It will transfer now. So it will take some time. You can see the percentage, how much percentage has been uploaded, and you can see what is the time which is left to copy and what is the time to elapse and with how much speed it is copying. So everything you can see here. So let's wait for a couple of minutes so that the upload will be completed to the Linux machine.
So is the WinSCAP free software to download or?
Yes, it's a free software. It's an open source.
So in the meantime, you have to have this WinSCAP on both the machines, yeah?
Sorry.
Now you are copying Windows to Linux machine, so that means you have WinSCAP on both Windows and the Linux machine, yeah?
Yeah, right. Our source copy it won't disturb, but additionally in the Linux machine, another copy will be created. It's just like a
It
copy
is
paste.
copying, yeah, it's copying and not moving.
Yes, it is copying. Fine. See, now I have the software in my Windows machine, which is on the left side. Now I have the software in my Linux machine also, which is at the right side part. Fine. Now the software is copied. Now this is my this is my Linux machine. If I go to slash tmp, because this is the path tmp, this is for temporary purpose. If I do ls minus lrt here, now we can see the file here. Okay, so this is the file we have copied just now.
Yeah.
Alright, so what's my fifth requirement? So we need to have the root user access, because with the help of root user only we can install the IIB software. Here also we have to depend on the Unix team. Hey Unix team, can you please provide me the root user for some time so that I can install my IIB in my machine, so that they can provide us the root user root access for installing this software only. Okay, again it depends on the organization policy to organization policy, because every organization they follow different rules, right? In some organization they provide you the root access, in some other organization they do not provide the root privileges. So at the time we need to give the commands to Unix team so that they can execute all the commands on our behalf. Okay, so but right now consider yes, we do have the root user access. Okay, so that's all with the prerequisites. Now we have done with all the 5 prerequisites. Now, the first thing we have to do is, here we have a gunzip file, right? Do you know what is a gunzip file in the Linux?
Is it tar.gzip file?
Yes, right. It's a tar.gz file. It
It's
means
just
that
like
first of all we have,
zip file.
yes, it's a zip file. It's a zip file and also it's a tar file. So first of all we have to untar and then we have to unzip. Okay. So to untar and unzip at the same time, the command is going to be like this: tar minus xzvf and then your file name. For example, tar minus xzvf, give this file name so that it will be gunzipped and also it will be untar at the same time. Now see, a directory called integration bus is creating, and then inside this directory there will be lot of binary files are going to be created, which are needed for the installation of IIB in this machine. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. Yeah, it's not done. Now see, the command prompt is in our control. If I do ls minus lrt, see right now we can say a directory called integration bus underscore runtime. Previously, it means before unpairing this file, we don't see this directory, right? There were only this file and these two directories. This directory was not there. But when we unpair it, we can see this directory now. Now, if I go to this directory, now we are in TMP integration bus runtime. If I do ls minus lrt, now we can see some files, right? So these are the files which been extracted when we untap this gunzip file. Okay, fine. Now come to the installation procedure. So these are the files we can see now. Now, to install the software, we have to execute this command now. Setup Linux 64 -i console. So I will tell you before executing command, this command, let me tell you one thing. When we install anything, right, in any computer system, you can do it in three ways. In the universe, till now, there are only three ways to install any software in the computer or in the operating system. So the first way is going to be GUI, graphical user interface. GUI means everything like a graphical. It is showing in a graphical voice. We're going to click on next, next, next button so that it will be installed. It's a GUI. Hope you pretty much aware of it because you must have done n number of installations in your personal computer, right?
Yeah.
So the first one is GUI. The second thing is console mode installation. Console mode installation means the operating system, when we try to install any software, the operating system is going to show you some options. Out of those options, you have to manually select the needed option so that the installation will be done. It means that when we execute one command, operating system will show you some options. You have to select the right option. Again, operating system will show you some sub options. Again, you have to select the right options so that the customized installation will be done in your operating system. That is a console mode installation. So IIB, it's a console mode installation. It means that when we try to start the installation of IIB, it will show some sub options. Out of those options, we have to select the appropriate option. What are the options we have selected according to that customization, that installation is going to happen in the operating system. That is what the console mode. Now the third thing is silent mode installation. Silent mode installation in the sense, so it is a pure user interface. When we execute the installation command in the backend in a silent way, that installation is going to happen, and finally it is going to show you some result. Okay, installation is done. That's it. It doesn't show you anything. It doesn't even show you as something is happening. No, it's a silent. It's going to happen in the backend. That is what the silent mode installation is. So clear with the GUI, clear with the console, and clear with the silent. Any questions?
Yeah, so the silent one is the command line one.
Yes, it's a command line one.
Yeah, yeah. So the tar.gz tar.gz file we copied from the Windows machine to the Linux machine. We only untarred it. You said, I think we untarred it,
Yes.
then we do something on GZ2 again, or we simply
No,
untar it.
when we enter it, we can see a directory got created with this name, integration bus underscore runtime. Okay.
Okay.
So when we enter this directory, in this directory, we can see these files and directories. Okay, so now when we have these files are available, now we are ready for the installation. When we are ready for the installation, we have to understand IIB is a console mode installation. It is not a silent mode or it is not a graphical user interface facility. It's a console mode installation. So
Oh,
what is a console mode? Just now I have given you the explanation.
so IIB, the console mode installation.
Yes, exactly. IIB is a console mode installation.
Okay, the other thing,
Mhm.
hmm, so is it a must to have Linux machine or?
No, in this training we are using Linux operating system. So in the organization they can use whatever the operating system is. They can use AIX, they can use HP Unix, they can use Sun Solaris, whatever it is. But these days, 90% of the organizations they are using the Linux operating system only.
Yeah, I mean now for our training, uh,
For our training, it is a Linux machine. For example, if I do uname, do you see it's a Linux operating system? Okay.
hmm, what if I don't have Linux machine?
We are going to give you the Linux machine, right? That's what I told you. After the session, I'm going to share you all the needed software. I'm
Or
going to share you the VMware. I'm going to share you,
virtual machine?
yes, I'm going to share you the virtual machine dump. I'm going
Yeah,
to share you Linux ISO image copy. I am going to share you MQ software and how to install MQ on Linux document. And also I'm going to share you IIB installation, IIB this file, IIB installation file, and then IIB installation document, so that you can configure your own VM with your own Linux operating system. And in the
yeah,
Linux, you can install MQ. On top of MQ, you can install IIB also. Okay.
yeah, I get you, I get you. I think I have virtual machine installed already.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Now you have to install the Linux ISO image copy that I am going to share you. I mean, what is this ISO image copy install? That everything I'm going to share. Okay.
okay.
All right. Now how to install? So the thing is, there is a command called dot slash set linux x64 minus I console. This is the command to install. So here is the thing. This is the file. This is the setup file of IIB in the Linux. So the command is going to be dot slash, and make sure you are with the root user only. Okay. Setup Linux x64 minus I console. So this is the command to install IIB. When I click this, now it will do something. So let's wait till it will throw you some options, because IIB is a console mode installation. Now it is extracting the installation resources from the archive. So it will take some couple of minutes. So we have to be patient for some time. Okay, now it is launching the installer. Now, okay, now do you see select language? So there are some languages. We have to select the languages. So IAB being a console mode installation, it will throw you some options during the installation. We have to select the appropriate option. Now, always the recommended language is English. Do you see an arrow mark? It means that it's a recommended thing.
Yeah,
If anyone from Dutch, anyone from France, anyone from Italy, anyone from Portuguese, they can use their own needed language. But here we are going with option number 2, which is English. Now click enter button. Now English will be taken. Now the next procedure. Okay. Now preparing console mode installation. Okay. Now here is the terms and conditions of IIB, of integration bus installer. If you really have the patience, you press enter button so that the terms and conditions will keep on opening. Okay, or else if you skip the terms and conditions, if you want to skip, you can press, you can enter 1 to accept the agreement or 2 to decline it. If you click on 2 and then hit enter button, then the installation won't happen because we are not accepting the terms and conditions. Here we at any point of cost, we have to accept the software terms and conditions, then let it install, right? So click 1 to accept the terms and conditions and then hit enter button. So that now the agreement has been accepted. Now it is again showing we have to choose the installation folder. Here the installation folder is going to be OPT IBM MQSI. You remember the prerequisites? If you go to the prerequisites, we have to make sure OPT IBM has to be there with the 25 GB of space, right? The reason is in OPT IBM only the MQSI, I mean IBM integration bus software is going to install. That's why we need it. Right now we do not have it, but that's okay. So press enter button so that this directory structure will be created.
So is it a must to like the installation directory? Is it a must for it to be always an OPT IBM MQSI?
Yes, it is the must. It is not the must thing. We can choose our customized absolute path. The thing is, if you want to install in the default path, just press a direct enter. Otherwise, you can give your customized path whatever you want and then press enter so that IIB is going to install in that customized path.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
So this is the default path. Okay, when we are choosing the default path, now it is showing some summary. It is showing that, okay, the product number we are installing integration bus. This is the installation folder and the disk space requirement is this much, but we already have this much of space available. It means we are good to install. Here's again some prerequisites are showing it. Now click enter to continue. So I pressed enter. Now we are ready to install. Now it is saying that the installer is now ready to install IBM integration bus onto your system in this location. Now press enter. That's it. Now wait for 2 to 3 minutes so that installation will be done. Now it is installing. Do not touch any key now. Wait for some time till the installation completes. Now the installation
So
is happening.
yeah, so IIB is not a standalone tool.
What do you mean by standalone tool?
I mean, for IIB to operate always, it is a must for MQ to run from the background.
Yes, right. NQ has to be there.
So technically, we are installing this IIB on MQ, yeah?
Yes, exactly. Already NQ is there. We have already seen that with a command called DSP NQ
But we didn't see the MQ installation, yeah?
No, it won't show that thing here, but it's a needed thing. Okay. Now I believe installation is a lot of finished. Okay. Now see, it is showing some confirmation that installation complete. The installer has successfully installed IBM Integration Bus version 9.0.2 in this directory. So after the installation, installer has done it, the log file will be written. It means that this will be the log file. I mean, what installation has been done, everything is going to be recorded here. And this is a debug log. So you can ignore these two things. This is just like some kind of informative, like what kind of installation has been done. Now it is showing something called press enter to exit the installer. Now if I press enter button, now again wait for some time, around 30 seconds to 1 minute, so that installer will be closed. Yeah, that's it. Now the installer has been closed. Here you can see something called 126. It means that it's a success symbol. So you can ignore this. It's a negligible thing. Don't worry about it. Okay, now again come back to the document. So what did we do? Okay, we have done the installation like this, like this, like this, like this. This is done. Okay, now installation is done at this point. Now the final step is we need to set the environment for our MQSI profile. It means that IIB having its own commands, right? So to execute these commands, we have to set the executable environment for our IIB commands. For that, we have to do below things. It's pretty simple thing. We have to go to the home directory of MQM user because IIB runs with the MQM user only. So MQ also runs with the MQM user and also IIB runs with the MQM user. And in the home directory, we have to go to dot profile file, and this dot profile file we have to enter this information. Okay, so right now do not set the environment variable. I will tell you one thing. Now there is a command called MQSI service -v. This is the first command I'm going to teach you in IIB. This command is going to show you to this is going to distribute what is the installed IIB version in this machine. Right now, IIB is there, but still it says that this command not found. Okay, it means that we have to set something. This command is now not ready for this operating system to be executed in this OS. We have to set the profile for this MQSI service. So to set the profile, we have to go to this path, the installation path of IIB, go to bin. So we are in OPT IBM MQSI 9.0.2 and then /bin. Here we can see the IIB commands. Do you remember in the introduction session, in the demo session, I have shown you all these commands in a PPT. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Right? So out of these things, now we need to take the help of this MQSI profile. This command is going to set the profile environment for our MQSI commands. Here MQSI commands means the broker commands, IIB commands. Okay, so we have to load this profile. How to load this profile? It's very simple. In the IIB installation bin directory, okay, switch to MQM user now. Now don't be the root user. Once the installation is done, switch to MQM user. Now we are with the MQM user. Now go to this path, cd opt IBM MQSI 9.0.0.2, go to bin. In this directory, now we have to execute this profile like dot space MQSI profile. When you click this, now the MQSI profile is loaded. Now if we execute MQSI service -v, that's it. Now it is showing IIB 9.0.2 integration bus. Now your MQ command, your broker commands will definitely work because we have loaded the profile. Okay. So clear this point, loading MQSI profile. Is this clear?
Yeah. So that where is that? Yeah, that. After that, is there a space?
Yes. Dot
So
space
space
MQSI
MQSI
profile.
profile. That
Right.
that is for current directory.
Okay. Now we can execute whatever the MQSI commands we need, but this is for temporary purpose only. This is not for the permanent. For example, if I switch to another user, for example, I am switching to root user. Okay, right now we are logged in as a root user.